Roland, can you explain the perfect store concept in simple terms?
Well, in very simple terms, perfect store is the Nestle way to help retailers increase sales. We do this with three building blocks. Number one is increased penetration. That means turning passengers into shoppers. Number two, by conversion, turning shoppers into buyers. And finally, the third one is to increase basket size and value. Now, the opportunities and challenges, they depend on store or on retailer. But the great thing about Perfect Store, it allows you to customize the result.
But this is largely the same thing as what Corrado outlined earlier this year in Orlando. I mean, is it the same wine but in a different bottle?
Actually, it's the same wine in the same bottle. I think what we have done is to confirm our strategy, but we have bolstered it with a lot of research and a lot of activations.
So what kind of research did you actually employ?
It's a variety of research. We have done desk research, obviously, but also in-depth interviews, observation studies. But the most compelling, the most extensive piece of research was probably the eye tracking research that we have done with the leading European retailer in 2 European airport hubs. And it allowed us to shop the shop through the eyes of a shopper, but also see what works, what doesn't work. And it was quite an eye-opener on many aspects.
So what then was the takeouts? I mean, did the trials actually yield the sort of results that both you and retailers are looking for? What were the learnings?
The learnings, there were so many learnings. I think we're still going through all the data and the insights. And obviously some of the learnings, they were very specific to the location and to the retailer, but some of the learnings, they cut across the locations. And to just give you an example, for instance, shelf signages, or how people shop the shop. But in general terms, I would say we expect way too much from the shopper. We assume that they know everything. But we have to be much more relevant, much more to the point, and much more hard-hitting.
Well, let's get to the bottom line. What about maximizing sales?
Well, let me give you an example. Till points. When we went through the research, we almost got the impression that retailers don't have a till point strategy. And not only on confectionery, but a till point strategy, which is usually multi-category. So we asked another leading retailer if he would be willing to do a trial with us. And we did that. We did an observation study with shoppers before. We implemented based on the Perfect Store principles, and we post-evaluated. And the result was that the interaction at the point of purchase, while it was before only 15%, it doubled, more than doubled actually, to 34%. So in the end, when we talk about baskets, when we talk about increasing sales, we have doubled the number of people who added something in the basket. Not only that, but before, the sales at the till points, they were heavily discounted. After, it was all full value sales. Now, if that is not a compelling result,
I don't know what is. But let's move on from till points. On a more general level, the Perfect Store looks at the store itself. And of course, it's a given that every single category wants to be allocated more space. I mean, why do you think that confectionery in particular should be treated any differently than it is at the moment? I mean, is it really all about right space and right location, or something else altogether?
Yeah, I wouldn't make a general statement that confectionery needs more space. It really depends on the retailer. That's the great thing about Perfect Store. It is based not on a supplier agenda or on a category agenda, but it's purely based on the retailer's needs or the shop needs, and it's based on shopper insights. And that decides if we get more space or if we just have to use the same space and use it more smartly.
So develop this thought. How much more smartly can a store be developed?
I hate to say always it depends, but it really depends, because I think there's no one fits all. In some of the retailers, some of the shops, they struggle with penetration. So we focus on penetration. We focus on penetration by way of doing different consumer promotions, different activations, events outside the store. Other shops, they struggle with the conversion. Too many people leaving the shop without a basket, without a purchase. And finally, Some of the retailers will say, no, we want to have average spend, increase the average spend per shopper, or increase the basket size. So that's exactly what we help them to do.
One final question, Roland. If there was one message you wanted to convey to retailers watching this video, what would it be?
Honestly, I would say you need this. You retailer, you actually need this, you just don't know it. But also knowing the hesitations around giving data and the hesitation about the complexity of category management, I would just tell them the Perfect Store initiative is not complex. It's very simple. It's built on simplicity. We don't need data. We need consumer insights, shopper insights from your shoppers. And then just give us a call, try it out, and you will see.
Thanks for your time, Roland.
Thank you, Peter.